Hello everyone, welcome again to the channel. Today I want to discuss with you this recent news about China. The main thing is China is proposing this new deal to increase economic and security cooperation with Pacific Island nations, and the US doesn't like it a little bit. So the main thing is to expand economic and security cooperation, and the islands that are involved are Kiribati, Samoa, Fiji, Tonga, Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, and the Solomon Island, including Cook Island, Niue, and the Federated States of Micronesia. So this deal is called Common Development Vision, and the main objective is to double trade by 2025 compared to 2028, provide additional COVID relief funds, send medical personnel to the island, and to offer government scholarships to the region, training of police forces, expand law enforcement cooperation, jointly combat transnational crime, and establish a dialogue mechanism on law enforcement capacity and police cooperation. I think that is very positive, but the United States doesn't like it. Particularly, this comes from the State Department, from their spokesman called Ned Price, and he says, "We're concerned that these reported agreements may be negotiated in a rushed, non-transparent process." And he says that China has a pattern of offering shadowy, vague deals with little transparency or regional consultation in areas related to fishing, related to resource management, development, or development assistance, and more recently, even security practices. So they are going to cry because they are not being consulted. Australia is not being consulted. Australia is not involved in this, so they don't like it. No, that's why the United States has the Military Pact Alliance called the AUKUS, which is Australia, United Kingdom, and the United States. And the main thing, the most recent development in this pact is that it will give Australia nuclear power submarines. And recently, the United States is doing some expanded ties with the Quad, which is a community of countries, including the United States. And the main thing is they are not going to be shy about it. They are doing this to counter China. And they just recently announced in Japan a new trade deal that is called the IPEF, or Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity. And the main thing is that there is including the US and 12 other nations, including Australia, Brunei, India, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, New Zealand, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. So this Quad, so-called Quad, is the US, Japan, India, and Australia. So the United States is providing some money for this group, including 50 billion for new infrastructure projects as part of their effort to counter China in the region. And the main thing is that this is an anti-China strategy that the US has. They are trying to counter China so strongly, they are not going to be shy about it. They say they will work with regional partners to respond to humanitarian, natural disasters, and combat illegal fishing. This is a direct threat to China, also to other countries, but if they are trying to do some negotiations there, I don't see it in a negative way. But the main thing is that the South Pacific is a region which has a lot of territorial claims. So if one country is fishing in an area that is contested, could be considered illegal fishing by others. So that's why this is tricky, and they are doing it especially to create problems for China. Basically, that's what it is. They are trying to provide technology and training to support enhance shared maritime domain awareness to promote stability and prosperities in our seas and oceans. And this infrastructure projects is where the money is going to be. This is both private and public investment, and they are going to do this over the course of the next 5 years. And the main thing is that they have this called so-called rules-based order, the, which is which means the U.S.-led order that Washington believes is being threatened by Beijing. So the United States has nothing to do in this region of the world, but they believe they have the right to rule over the entirety of this planet. The entirety of this planet is their domain, and they want to be the prime partner for everyone because they don't want to lose their primacy in the world. The Biden administration says openly that they still maintain that China is its foreign policy priority. Strengthening the Quad and other regional partnerships is key to the U.S. strategy against Beijing, as outlined by the U.S. Indo-Pacific strategy, which also calls for a greater U.S. military and diplomatic presence in the Asia-Pacific. So they don't like China helping their neighbors, so that's why they are doing all these things. And pay attention to this. He says, we are here today for one simple purpose. The future of the 21st century economy is going to be largely written in the Indo-Pacific, our region. Biden say from Tokyo. This framework should drive a race to the top. So they called the Indo-Pacific their region. How interesting, no? And this is in relation to this New Deal, the IPF that we mentioned in the original article. And this is about these 13 countries, 12 Asian countries, and the US to increase cooperation on issues including supply chains, trade, clean energy, and anti corruption efforts. And they want to offer basically all these countries an alternative to China's approach to these critical issues. And the statement from China is that they welcome new initiatives aimed at strengthening regional cooperation but opposes efforts to create division. The Asia Pacific should become a high ground for peaceful development, not a geopolitical gladiatorial arena. I wonder why they say that. Maybe because the United States is so focused on creating conflicts all over the world, you know. So the main thing is you need to look at this in the context of commerce and in the context of the GDP. These are the highest rated countries according to their nominal GDP with statistics from 2017. This is what I found. So China is number two. It will become number one very soon. Some even claim China is already number one, depending on the source. So this is why the United States is so bent on countering China. They don't like China becoming number one because with money comes power, you know. So they don't want this power, this influence that China is so far being so benevolently using. The influence of China is all over the world. They are some kind of alternative to the IMF, and a lot of countries prefer taking money from China rather than from the IMF because all the money that comes from the IMF has with a lot of strings attached, let's say it. and these strings are never going to benefit the host country. They are just giving them money, but they are creating this very unhealthy relationship, which makes them victim for the bigger powers. That's what is this new colonialism, as everyone knows. So pay attention to the economy of Russia. Russia is so small compared to, I don't know, for example, China is 10 times bigger. The economy of China compared to the economy of Russia. But China has a lot of natural resources. So that's why the United States was so angry, so upset about this recent alliance between China and none other than Russia. They don't like it a bit. That's why, interestingly enough, the two countries where there is a big conflict currently is China and Russia. They don't like any of them, because it's a way to challenge their primacy, their supremacy. They want to be the kings of the world, and they don't want any country who likes to challenge this current status. So that's why all these recent news against China, they are trying to portray China as some kind of negative agent in the world, while so far it hasn't proven to be like that. Yes, they have conflicts with their neighbors. I think most countries have problems with their neighbors, but they haven't invaded anyone so far. I'm just talking about the current state of events, and let me know what you think about this in the comment section. And as always, I ask you to please like this video, share the video in social media, subscribe to the channel to receive notifications for future videos, and I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you for watching.